You know, we did a survey a couple months ago, and we found out that a lot of people are concerned about how to close a recruiting interview, and that they felt like that was the place that offered them the biggest challenge. They really weren't great at closing. I want to tell you, we've done a lot of looking at this and a lot of surveys on this, and we've also found that a lot of you aren't even closing at all. You're leaving a recruiting conversation with something like this. Okay, so think about it and you can let me know. Or just, okay, so what do you think? And none of those are really closing statements at all. So we've done some digging, we've done some looking and finding out why don't people close and what's the problem with the close. And there's really 3 reasons that you don't close. First of all, you want that person so bad that you don't want to ask because you're afraid they might say no, and then the conversation's done. Right? That sounds like familiar to you, right? Or second, you're so afraid of personal rejection, and my goodness, we've talked about that. Is, you know, don't be afraid of that personal rejection, because the reality is that you're thinking about yourself instead of thinking about that person and why it might or might not be good for them. And they are an adult; they can choose. And the third reason that you have a trouble closing is that you're afraid that that's going to slam the door, and then you can never go back to that person. So I really want to teach you something I learned a long time ago that will help in all 3 of these scenarios. And that is, your attitude about closing has to be SW3. Some will, some won't, someone's waiting. So you need to be inviting enough people, having enough conversations that you don't have to convince them. You've probably heard me say that before, but that you're finding the people who are the right fit. So one of the great things that's really helped me to leave a recruiting conversation with a close is to think about what we can do next step to keep the door open so the door's not slammed, but also at the same time honoring and respecting the person's decision. And so I always teach there are 3 kinds of no. There's no never, no not now, and do you know someone? No never, no not now, and do you know someone? And when you're closing, it can be as simple as, well, the next step is this, and if they say, well, I don't think I'm going to do this, then you say, you know, is that just a timing thing? Is that no never, or just not now? That helps you to keep that door open, so 2-3 months, a year down the way, that you will be able to get back in touch with that person with their permission. And it keeps it clean. You know, I think that's really important. The other thing that happens with a no never, if somebody says, you know, that's a never, it's just not for me, then I want to honor that, and I want to look them straight in the eye and say, you know what, I respect that, and I'm going to, you know, it's not the path that I would take for you, but it's your path, and reality is I won't bother you again, because that would be a waste of your time and mine. But thinking about the people that you know who might be a really good fit. And that's exactly how you go for that third piece of no, which is, who do you know that might be good? So I think the important thing to remember is that when you close, you want to either look for the next step, or you want to see how we can, if they haven't thought, when do I need to follow up? What are they thinking? What objections haven't been handled? And if you've done all those things and you're still getting a no, you can always go to that 3-way no. Is that a no never, or just a no not now? I hope that helps to begin to understand closing. In cracking the recruiting code, we spend a lot of time. In fact, we spend an entire class just on the different kinds of closes and handling objections. And so it's worth your time to investigate that, and I hope you do.